at the instruction called as break and continue instruction. Now this is one of the most important instructions of C language whenever you wish to terminate the loop in the mid of its operation. Now what exactly I mean by terminating the loop in the mid of its operation? Suppose if I'm supposed to execute a loop which is say for 10 times and some abrupt conditions occurs in the middle of the loop such that I wish to terminate the loop operation say for some specific conditions. In those 10 times, if a specific condition occurs, then also I wish to terminate the loop. Now, we can't predict what and how and at what time the condition is going to occur. Hence, what we need to do is, we need to introduce an instruction in the mid of the loop such that the loop gets terminated in the mid before it achieves the final condition. And if that particular condition never happens, then obviously the loop will terminate the loop will terminate at the end of its own operations itself. An instruction which is used for termination of a loop in the middle of its operation is said to be a break instruction. Now continue is exactly opposite of this. Let's first discuss the entire concepts of break and then we'll go ahead with the continue instruction. So basically, what exactly a break instruction is? A break instruction has got a syntax in this fashion. So I'm supposed to say break and a semicolon. Now, this break and a semicolon can be placed only in two cases. It can appear either in a loop or it can appear in a switch case. In the earlier videos, we have seen how exactly break operates in a switch case. So we'll not again rediscuss the concepts of break with switch case. I'll just give a one-liner for this particular switch case and a break instruction. Whenever a break gets executed in a case, it will ignore all the instructions which appear after that till the end of the case, till the end of the switch case, and transfers the control outside the switch case, thus terminating the switch case in the mid of its operation. That is how it is said in a switch case. Now let's say about the break instruction with a loop. Assume that I have a for loop at this place. And in this for loop, I wish to execute the instruction say for 10 times. If I'm supposed to do it for 10 times, then I'll say I equals to 1, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Or if I have a while loop, I'll have a while followed by a pair of curly brackets to indicate the statements which are supposed to be indicated or executed till the condition turns out as false. Or I can have a do while loop similarly for the operation. I'll say while C1, C1, and here also I'll place C1 and a condition prior to this. So I have these instructions in a for, while, or do while. We know that this for is going to repeat till the C1 remains true. Your while repeats when C1 is true. Your do while also repeats when C1 is true. Suppose in the middle of this instruction, in the middle of this particular loop, I wish to introduce one more condition, that is C2. If ever C2 turns out as true, I wish to terminate this particular loop. So in that case, what I can do is I can use a break instruction. What a break instruction does? If C2 is true, break will be hit. If break is hit, then what it does is it will automatically terminate the loop and transfer the control outside this particular loop. Similarly, if I have a condition if C2 at this place, what a break does? If I have a break instruction, this will transfer the control outside the loop. And similarly, here also, if I write a condition C2 and a break keyword, this will also transfer the control outside the loop itself. So break can appear in any part of the loop, for loop, while loop, or do while loop. The concepts are simple. Whenever a break instruction gets executed, it will ignore all the instructions which appear after that till the end of the loop and transfers the control outside the loop. Similarly, here also, if a break instruction gets executed, it will ignore all the instructions which appear after this till the end of the loop and transfer the control outside the loop, thus avoiding the repetition of the loop for further executions. So here, part of the loop gets executed, part of the loop gets executed, part of the loop gets executed here also, here also. But if you want to ignore some part and then make a decision whether to quit or to continue, in that case we can use these instructions. So whenever you say that you are supposed to quit, then the simple instruction is a break instruction. Now, let's see how exactly a continue instruction goes. A continue instruction goes in this fashion. Suppose if I have a do while loop in this fashion, or a for loop with this particular syntax for say E1, E2, E3. Now, I have assumed that some instructions in this and some instructions in this. I know that the loop is going to restart automatically when it completes the entire execution of these instructions. When the loop entirely executes these set of instructions, then only it will go back. What if I had to go back somewhere in the mid itself? If I had to go back to the mid, then in that case, what I can do is I can use a condition at this place. Let me say C2. Rather than placing a break instruction, what I'll do is I'll say continue and a semicolon. The syntax of continue is continue semicolon. Now what it does is this continue instruction will transfer the control back to the looping instructions, thus executing E3 and then followed by E2. So it means that continue also ignore the instruction which appear after continue till the end of the loop, and break also ignores all the instructions which appear after the break till the end. But where the control is transferred will be the major difference between a break and continue instruction. So in a break, the control lands outside the loop, whereas in a continue instruction, the control goes back to the condition part of the loop. So here, the condition is written at this place. Similarly, if I try this operation in a do while loop, don't always feel that you should use continue instruction. The continue instruction will always take the control outside the loop. No. The continue instruction will always take you to the condition part of the loop. Hence, in a do while loop, it will not go upward. This will come back and recheck the condition at this place. But it will not terminate the loop. It will ignore all the instructions which appear after that till the end of the loop, but transfer the control back to the condition of the loop. Similarly, if I write while, while say C1, if C2, continue, and then I'll terminate the end of the loop. So here, if I say continue, what exactly the loop instruction does? So continue, ignore all the instructions which appear after that till the end of the loop and transfer the control back to the condition part of the loop. Here, some part of the loop is always isolated. If I use a break or a continue, some part of the loop is isolated. Whether it will restart or whether it will quit will depend upon the term of instruction which you use, whether you use break or continue instruction. What if I have multiple or nested loops in this particular structure? If I have a for, and in that for, if I have a while, assume that I'll have a second syntax, I'll say for, and within this I'll have while, and within this I'll say if C2. Assume that I have multiple instructions, and here. Now, let's first discuss with the break and then we discuss with continue. Suppose if I have a break instruction at this place. Will this break terminate a pair of curly brackets? No, a break will not terminate the pair of curly brackets. A break will always affect the loop. Here, the loop is not if but while. I've said it in the prior session saying that if is not a looping instruction. If is a selection instruction, which means that the condition is checked and then it will decide whether to ignore or to execute, but it continues. Whereas while, do while and for, they are called as loop because after the condition of the condition, it will decide whether to come back to the condition or whether to quit this particular entire structure. Since while is a loop, hence break will always affect the loop. Here I have two loops now. I have a for and I have a while. So if break is executed, in that case what it does is it will terminate the while loop. But whereas a for loop is going to still continue. So a break will never break multiple loops. A break will only break a single loop, that to the loop in which it is contained. Never feel that a break has got a property that it will ignore the curly brackets which are written within that. No. A break has to be associated with a loop so that it can quit someone. If I use just a pair of curly brackets, then it will be identified as a block which will not be executed. So a break instruction or a continue instruction will always say that you are supposed to repeat a set of instructions again and again, or whether you want to terminate the loop in the middle of the operation. So we have seen the application of this particular break and continue instruction. We'll see an example to illustrate this particular break and continue instruction. Let's see an example to illustrate break and continue instruction. So let us put a program to illustrate the use or just a break and continue instruction. For a while, take a complete look at this particular entire code. I advise to pause this particular video when you observe this particular program. Take a round around the entire program. Work out with the instructions, break and continue as per the discussions which we had right now, and then arrive at answer. I feel you are going to pause this particular video right now, go through the entire stuff, and then you will find the output. Pause it now. Okay, now probably once you have traced out the entire operation, when you are restarted, let's discuss and match with our answers. Let's hope that the answers which you obtained are going to match the one which I am going to discuss now. Let's obtain the output of this particular code. I have a simple condition, I have a simple continue, I have a simple break. Right? Now, let's start this particular code. This is how you might have thought about this particular code when you got executed. Right? I'll write the output at this particular place. I'll write the memory at this particular place. So in memory, I have a variable by name I, which starts with what value? 1. So I is 1, 1 less than equal to 10, true. This is how you might have thought. Yes? Okay. Now I'll say 1 mod 3 equal to 0, false. 1 mod 7 equal to 0, false. So if this if was false, then also it will go to this place. If this if is true, then also it will go to this particular place. It all depends upon the instruction which appear in this. So neither of these if are true. So it will automatically execute this particular printf. Now this printf is a statement X for this particular part. So I have %d/n, I++. Now when I say I++, how a printf behaves with an increment operator. So here I have a post increment operator. When I have a post increment operator, it means that the value of I is first displayed and then it will be printed. So the value of I is what? 1. So on the output screen, what it does is it print 1, transfer the control to the next line, and then says ++. So now within printf, the value of I is modified to 2. But this particular value is never displayed as it is a post increment operator. So do remember that in a printf, whenever we have post increment operator, it will always use the value and then it will increment. So it will use this particular value and then increment this particular expression. But the incremented value will not appear in the same instruction. It will appear for the next instruction. So I'll say I++ now. So by the time I quit this particular printf, your I has been already modified to what? 2. I++ is now modified to 3. Now this is just a simple instruction. Hence, whether you change the value of I first or second, it will not make any difference. So I is now 3. This curly bracket will take you back to E3. So I++. So now I value is 4. Because ++ makes it as 4. 4 less than equal to 10, true. True in the sense 4 mod 3 equal to 0. False. Because 4 mod 3 is 1. Since it will go to this particular place, I mod 7 equal to 0. 4 mod 7 equal to 0. False. False since the printf %d, I++. So the value of I is 4. Hence it will print 4. ++ will make it as 5. But the incremented value will not be used in the same printf. It will be used in the next instruction. So when I change this particular I is modified to what now? 6. Got it right, I is 6. So let's go back, I++. 6 ++ is now 7. 7 less than equal to 10, true. 7 mod 3 equal to 0, false. 7 mod 7 equal to 0, true. True in the sense break. Now what break does? Break will transfer the control outside of the loop. So it means that this particular loop will not work for 10 times. Instead of that, when I reaches a value or I hits a value of 7, it will automatically match with this condition and a break is going to be hit. After that, the control goes back to get ch. So it means that a break didn't allow the loop to execute till the value of I is 10. So break said stop this particular operation when the condition I mod 7 equal to 0 is hit. In some cases, even I mod 3 equal to 0 would have been hit. If I mod 3 hits, then in that case what it does is it will execute continue. It means that it will ignore all the instruction in this part and then goes back to I++. So in this example, your continue instruction is never executed. But if it could have been executed, this could have been executed in this fashion. Ignore all the instruction from that till the end of the loop, go back to I++. Since the output in this case is 4. So 1 is modified to 2 in the printf, 2 is modified to 3 by the outside instruction, 3 is modified to 4 in the I++ instruction, 4 is modified to 5 in the I++ instruction, 5 is modified to 6 in the I++ instruction, and 6 is modified to 7 in the for loop I++ expression. Hence 7 mod 7 equal to 0 turns out as true, and break will take the control outside this particular instruction. So simple example illustrate this particular break and continue. So in your exams, if they ask you to explain a break and continue instruction, you are supposed to put these points. First, say what exactly a break instruction is. I'll brief that. A break instruction is used to terminate the loop in the middle of this operation. Second, how it works in a loop and how it works in a switch case. We have seen the operation of break in for, while, do while. You can take any one syntax and explain that particular syntax. In a switch case, refer to the switch case video and get to know how exactly a break works in that particular switch case. Just describe about the break operation with a loop and break operation with a switch case. And then you can put the same points with even continue instruction. And finally, you are supposed to frame one example randomly of your choice. Not necessarily it has to be an example which is there in your books or the one which I have discussed. You can just randomly write a for loop, some condition with if, for one with break, some condition with if, one with continue, and then some instruction with that particular printf, and discuss that particular program at the end. So that will be a complete short note on this particular break and continue instruction. We'll see the implementations of these programs in the later videos. Thank you.